Welcome, friends, to the Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour with your hosts Sig Bisley and Colt Mauser. Before we get started, please be sure to like this video and subscribe for more content just like this. Now, let the animation appreciation commence.
Okay, so I'm the one that picks what we review every week, so therefore it is my fault when we have to watch a piece of shit. So in recompense for the turd that I forced I forced everybody to watch last week.
You couldn't known. It's so well regarded.
I picked
and public service announcement right up front. Don't watch Wings of Enemies.
Yeah, just don't.
Just
I mean,
don't.
Like we said
pretty.
last week, it's got a lot of good beats in it, and it could have been good, but it was just executed so
If you
poorly.
want to mute it and just watch the awesome animation while you do something else,
Yeah, like watch the.
do it.
I think I said this last week. Watch the first 20 minutes like on mute,
Yeah.
and it's great. But don't get in.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, you can't get into any characters because they're like shitty cardboard cutouts. Anyway,
You were getting to your
so
points.
in recompense for that turd last week, I picked a classic that everybody has enjoyed several times, and we've yet to do any MACROSS stuff. So
That is
today's
true.
review: MACROSS Plus, classic.
I want to get to MACROSS Zero at some point, just because I haven't watched it in so long.
Yeah.
And I only ever watched it the one time. Like MACROSS,
How many episodes is it?
it's a little longer. That's gonna have to be maybe a two-parter. But MACROSS, I think I might be 8.
Because
6 or 8.
Frontier's dope too.
Frontier's great. But
That's like a full 13, I think, though.
no, it's 20.
Oh, it's a 24.
Yeah, it's a 20.
So it's a
something.
real series, yeah.
It's not a 50-something like 7. We're never reviewing MACROSS 7. We might give thoughts on it, but we're not reviewing it.
I'm sure I mentioned it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of classically bad.
Someday we could talk about the Pink Peckers.
Yeah, that's. We'll just leave that there. Anyway, so we'll review
Watch
that.
MACROSS 7 if you want to know about that. But don't watch MACROSS 7 because it's
The
bad.
Pink Pecker Squadron.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Did they know? Did they not know? Was somebody just picking out English words? I have no idea.
I never know with Japan, man. I
I
think sometimes they're just getting trolled.
I assume like somebody had to have known. Anyway.
Maybe they were as dick obsessed as Golden Kamuy is. Who knows?
Right. Speaking of Golden Kamuy, ton of new episodes this week we'll go over.
Yep.
I finally finished Bastard, so I'll spend a couple minutes talking about that. He finally finished 86, so we'll spend another couple minutes talking on that.
I got some thoughts on 86.
But before any of that, per usual, the news.
All right, so we'll start with Golden Kamuy. So good segue. So this is a shame. So apparently, there was one of the staff members passed away.
That sucks.
They don't really say who. And they're going to delay episodes.
Oh, bummer, man.
So episodes 6 to 12 will be delayed. So RIP to unnamed staff member who apparently is very important to the production. They said that, and that's a damn shame.
Every week when an episode doesn't come out, I'll be RIP that guy.
And
so it's a good in memoriam.
Yeah, and the show was great. So it that's a loss. So we'll see whenever they decide to release the rest of it. I hope his it doesn't even say he or she, so I don't know.
My condolences.
Yeah, seriously.
To the family of said individual.
Yeah, that's a damn shame. So bummer news to start off with. So we'll move on kind of quickly from there. I wish you could see what I was looking at right now. So this is The Marginal Service, some show that's going to come out from Cygames. There's a lot of nudity going on, and there's a lot of very, very buff men. There's one woman, but there's a lot of very, very buff men. And I don't know what the hell this is about.
It doesn't really sound like it is relevant to my interests.
But it looks extremely weird and wacky. The explosive debut of a bad new service is the tagline.
This gets more suspect every word you say.
I will tell you, this is brilliant marketing because I know nothing about this, and I'm intrigued that it will be interesting.
We'll see.
So this is going to come out in 2023. There is a teaser. I haven't watched it yet, but it is out on YouTube, and there's some promo images like the lots of naked dudes and woman image. See, I will turn this in your direction so you can see it. Like,
I don't know about
I'm
that.
intrigued. I don't know what the hell it is.
I do want to know what it's about.
I know, right?
I can't imagine watching.
I'm not saying I'm going to like it. I'm just saying I'm intrigued. Especially with the flying raccoon dog in the background. I don't know. So I just passed this news on to you so you can go feel the same confusion that I feel right now.
I'm going to guess that it's about an escort service of some sort.
Probably.
I think that's a safe bet.
There's way too many dudes for an escort service, but maybe.
Maybe Japan has a lot of lonely ladies.
Oh, maybe there is something in common. Maybe that girl. Fuda, man. Fuda.
Yeah.
It's the new Fuda anime. I hear. Wait. I hear Ricada somewhere. His interest is perked. Anyway, we'll move on from that to something else wacky, but not quite so titillating. Taint tickling, whatever you want to say. Although I don't know, this might tickle your taint.
Taint tantalizing.
So, taint tantalized. That's better than taint tickling. See, obviously better wordsmiths than the Swedish man.
Little alliteration.
So anyway, well, taint tickling is also alliteration, but not as good as taint tantalizing. Slightly different
Flows off
connotation.
the tongue.
A lot of things flow off the tongue. Anyway, so we talk about stage plays somewhat often just because Japan will make a stage play of anything.
Fucking hilarious.
It's great. So Mazinger Z is getting a stage play, boys.
Oh, hell yes. Can I volunteer to be in the cardboard Mazinger Z?
That would be fucking amazing. I don't. It's going to be in the Kokumen Kyosai Co-op Hall in Tokyo from November 25th to December 4th, so limited engagement. But there will indeed be a Mazinger Z stage play. So
I vow to go to Japan to see a wacky stage play someday.
that's what I'm saying. So if you're in Tokyo and you can go see this, I mean, how could it be bad? Definitely can't be bad. And the promo image looks freaking amazing. My minor complaint is it needs more Boss Barat. He's there, but it needs more Boss Barat.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know what the hell this is going to look like. I don't know what it's going to actually be about. But freaking Mazinger Z of all things getting a stage play. Go check that shit out.
How could it not? So classic.
End of this month, beginning of next month. If you are in Tokyo, which you probably aren't, so just like us, you will miss it. Shame.
Wah, wah, wah.
Anyway, moving on. So I read this earlier, and don't understand. So Cyberpunk Edge Runners is the anime, which was excellent. We reviewed a while back. It's getting a tabletop RPG. And you might go, hey, wait a minute. Isn't Cyberpunk a tabletop RPG that inspired the game, that inspired the anime, that inspired the tabletop RPG? Wait a minute. This doesn't make any goddamn sense.
That, sir, is my understanding of the situation.
Couldn't I just go back to the beginning?
You would think.
So Artel Sorian, who did the original, is doing it. So I'm assuming it's using the same system as Cyberpunk Red. It's more of a, it's a.
I imagine
they're calling it a mission kit, but it's like a splat book or
yeah,
a setting or whatever. Like
I imagine it's just a re-release with that's more involved with the anime.
Exactly, that's more geared towards the anime. So that is not the weirdest thing, but it's just funny to
kind of
draw that circle.
Mo money, yeah.
I'm very happy that
they took that
Michael.
property
What's
and
his
did something good
name?
with it.
Michael. Shoot, I can't remember his name. The guy who did the original. I'm glad he's finally, really seeing some success with it. And it's a shame that the game, they just got so pressured to release that game way before it was ready. And it's apparently it's in a much better state now, but you can't beat that first impression, right?
Yeah.
And they should have never released it for old consoles. And it seemed like a corporate nightmare gone wrong. But anyway, if you are into tabletop RPGs, yes, there is a Cyberpunk tabletop RPG, which is what everything came from, and there is a new edition. Red, I can't remember what the hell it's something edition. I can't remember what the hell it is.
Something
I saw it a bunch of years ago. Last time we went to PAX Unplugged, before it went completely off the deep end. Although it was already mostly off the deep end.
It started pretty bad, actually.
Yeah, it started. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that someday. We do shit on conventions a lot.
They had hermaphrodite bathrooms first year.
Yeah, they did, but I don't know if that was Philly or them.
Yeah, I think it was them. It seemed like them.
Well, they had the rule, the no booth babes rule, and the Amish rules of
Oh yeah, it was
dress.
ridiculous. It's like any like girls can't have skirts above like.
Oh,
their
it was like above the
knees
knee or
and,
something. It was ridiculous.
I'm
It was like
am I in Catholic school in like
I know.
1950? Like what the fuck?
It's strange how this all goes full circle. Like censorship comes from a lot of places, boys and girls, not just the religious right.
It's funny it went puritanical.
It did. So there's something interesting there, right? That Puritanism exists somewhere at the end of fundamentalism, and that what does that say about people that buy into all the garbage? Anyway,
Well, I mean, it's just another form of
another fundamentalist religion.
It's just another religion.
So, yeah, Cyberpunk. There's going to be a mission book for their edge runners. Makes sense. May as well capitalize on it. So, check that out if you're into tabletop RPGs. All right, so now we're on to the wacky merchandising portion of the news.
Always my favorite.
So this one isn't really wacky merchandising. This is obvious this was going to happen merchandising. So Premium Bandai has jerseys that look like the uniforms from Witch from Mercury.
Oh hell yeah! I want to get one.
So it's
I want to be the Jaturk.
Gul Jaturk. Antikasia student is it's the student uniform.
Yeah.
For Antikasia, which I didn't even know that name until I read it here. So thank you. They don't really say it much in the anime.
No, they do not.
I'm sure they said it like the first episode, but they have not since. So the jerseys are available for pre-order right now. They are 13,200 yen each, which you might go, oh my God, that's a lot of money, but the yen is still very underperforming, and that's $90.
Not too shabby.
That's way out of line. And they're going to ship in February 23. I don't know about sizing. The people modeling them is two small Japanese girls. I'm assuming they have more sizes than that. I'm sure they will not have my size because if you're over 6 feet tall, Japanese clothes will never fit you regardless.
It's true. Even I have a hard time.
Yeah. So, yeah, these are cool. Completely expected that they would do this. They actually look pretty good. So if you're into Witch from Mercury, go check that out on Premium Bandai because Premium Bandai is kind of a bitch. If you don't get it in the pre-order, you probably won't get it. So
yeah, it's true. Savagery.
Go pre-order it up. All right. So in similar news and also completely not unexpected, completely expected, Cospa, who is one of the big cosplay outfits that does a ton of cosplay stuff for Japan.
Yep.
They have the schoolgirl uniforms for Urusei Yatsura available.
I dig it.
In both yellow. Is that an ascot? Is that a neckerchief? Is that whatever it is?
Yeah.
And red, depending on which flavor of schoolgirl you want to be from Urusei Yatsura. They also have the white shirt version, which I'm assuming is like the winter uniforms and the summer uniforms.
Yeah.
So they exist. They're going to be on sale in March. The winter one's in March, summer one's in April.
Makes sense.
Don't exactly line up the seasons, but it makes sense that one will come up before the other. So they'll go check those out. Again, Japanese sizing, obviously. So, if your girlfriend's a little on the larger side, no judgment here, but probably not going to fit into these badass uniforms. You have to make your own.
He means she's tall, right?
Yes, correct. Maybe date the volleyball players. I don't know. No judgment here. She could be wide too. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. No judgment on that either. All right, moving on. So, in more, capitalism consumer news, the world's biggest anime shop is going to open March 16th in Japan. So this is Animate's Ikebukuro store. It's going to be a grand reopening, so reopening, whatever. It's going to have 10 floors all the way into the basement, full of interactive experiences and merch for you to spend your grubby money on.
Your filthy, sweaty dollar.
Your filthy, sweaty yen. I see those yen in your eyes. I know what's going on. So it's going to be opening next year. Like I said, March 16th in Ikebukuro. So Japan, in Tokyo. Sorry.
So if you're there to watch the Mazinger Z stage play, you can
You could stay for another 4 months and then go to the store and check it out.
Yeah, rich kids. You can afford it.
Yeah, just go teach English over there or something. That's what all the kids do. That's what I hear.
When you get your student loan debt forgiveness, whatever the fuck it is, you can waste it on a 4-month trip to Japan.
I hate to tell you, it's never going to happen.
No, you can sign up. The internet told me so.
It's never going to happen. Anyway. Well, I'd be all for it if it was more forgiving the debt so that the loan providers didn't just get, this is just giving money to loan providers. Whatever. Not a political podcast. Moving on. All right. So here's the first bit of wacky news for the week. And by wacky, I mean, what the fuck are you thinking? So the Oculus Rift founder is making a headset.
Oh, I read about this.
That will kill you if you die in the game, like it's fucking Sword Art Online. Now, I'm assuming this is 100% just a freaking, publicity grab. Of course.
The mock-up of it does look super cool, though. It's got these, like, bolts that stick out the front.
I'm looking at it.
It's, like, go into your brain.
Now, yeah, but I will tell you, the way they're pointing, it's just going to lobotomize you. It wouldn't actually kill you.
Yeah, that's why I think it's just...
They should be on the back to get in your brainstem. Oh, sorry. Not a murder podcast.
Also, it should be explosives and not a stupid dart. I want your head to explode.
Yeah, man. It should be like freaking Running Man.
Turn your head into fucking blood mist.
We're going to watch that soon, by the way.
Oh, hell yeah. I always forget about that one.
And no, not the Korean show. Although I'd watch that too because that's awesome.
I miss that they don't play it anymore.
I know. It's a Korean restaurant. I'm gonna file a complaint. More Running Man.
Yeah, but tell Brandon to put Running Man back on.
Yeah, what the heck?
It's like old times again.
I know.
Brandon's back.
It's the way to be.
I can't get rice though.
I'm gonna demand it.
It's kind of a shame.
I'm gonna demand it. They have all the stuff and spicy hot dog. So anyway, this is a cool thing to just go check out. Go check out this piece of headgear. Again, obviously just a publicity stunt.
It's funny.
It's kind of funny.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm certainly not something to actually get lathered up over. It's just kind of funny. Like, who seriously wants that to actually happen? Like, who would assume anybody wants that? Well, there's probably someone who wants that to actually happen, but they're a weird psycho. So,
as long as they do it to themselves.
The downfall of Western civilization, it is not. I'll tell you what is the downfall of, well, maybe not Western civilization, Eastern civilization. Yeah. I'm just going to read this. The Furry Dojin Convention, Chemoket, so not Comiket, Chemoket, has raised over 2 million yen in a crowdfunding campaign.
Wow.
So that's, what,
200,000-ish?
Nah, $20,000.
Oh, sorry, $20,000.
$20,000, and not even because we just talked about how the yen is crap. So it's like $15,000. That's too much money. It should raise $0. Okay, maybe a little more than $0, but listen, man, I'm not here to kink shame, but Jesus Christ.
For the love of God.
That's a bit much. You don't need an entire... It's a bit much because I don't think you need your own furry dojin convention. Like, can you just be at the regular dojin convention?
Specific.
Especially since, like, as far as kinks go, furry is not on the bleeding edge of weirdness that Japan is into, right? Like, not even close.
I mean, you got a ton of them over here, so...
It just doesn't seem even close to, like, the edges of depravity you could probably find at your average dojin convention. So why does it need its own? Could it not just exist along with everything else? I don't know.
Clearly there's interest.
Well, a little bit. 2 million yen sounds like a lot, and then when you break it down, it's like, oh, well, not so much.
Yeah, I had an extra zero.
Anyway, I mean, hey, look, more power to you. I actually don't really care. I mean, we can have again, not a political podcast. We can have a conversation at some point about the slippery slope of these things, and I mean that in the dirtiest way possible.
The slippery snail trail of these things.
But I still believe in a free society, and you should be able to engage in these kind of things if you want to, if you're consenting adults. So anyway, I just thought that was funny that they literally were trying to raise money for their own, and they actually had raised a fair bit.
That's enough for a dojin convention where you need a hotel and a bunch of tables. Like, It's like you need stuff.
You're going to need more than a hotel and a bunch of tables, sir.
You're going to need, what's that company?
You need a lot of lube.
Yeah, you need ServPro to come in and
You're definitely going to need ServPro after the fact. That is for sure.
come in and hose that shit
Hazardous
out.
waste. You need those guys that go to the freaking crime scenes and clean them up.
Yeah, that's basically ServPro. They do everything.
Oh, my God. Anyway, we're going to move on here. We're going to move on to the last bit of news, which is, oh, boy. So we talked about a dumbass voice actor last week. Who was Japanese. We're going to talk about another dumbass voice actor this week, Jameson Price. If this gets back to Jameson Price, you're a woke, virtue-signaling dumbass. Knock it off.
Don't you know that shit's done?
So the original voice
over.
of Chad in Bleach.
I saw that. I know what you're talking
Who?
about.
I mean, what race is he? I'm pretty sure he's Japanese. Even if he's darker Japanese, he's just Japanese.
Just because he's giant doesn't mean he's...
I'm pretty sure he's not actually, black or anything. So this guy, he is no longer auditioning for non-white characters. An anime voice actor.
I don't...
How is that going to work again? What the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous.
Technically, none of them are white, but all of them are white. You know how anime works.
I just don't. Representation matters. Access matters. Hey, let me clue you in on something just a little bit. Let me just a little bit.
Let me illuminate
Clue you in. Asian, right? Like minority in the U.S. There are over 2 billion Asian people on this planet.
Yes, they are the majority on the planet.
They are the majority on this fucking planet. You fucking virtue signaling shithead.
And they don't care about you.
It's so dumb. It's so incredibly dumb.
This is amazingly dumb. That's like a... People say dumb shit like that all the time.
And access to opportunity in anime has not been equal. Yes, the Asians have been gatekept from anime for forever. They obviously don't do any of the voice
acting. As I was going to
acting.
say 2 seconds ago, I've heard a lot of dumb shit, but they at least have some kind of like fake... This one was just not thought out at all. Like, what are you even talking about? It's just nonsense. Maybe his career's going poorly. He's just hoping for that, like...
He, of course, ended with a Maya Angelou quote, just to, tie up the virtue signal.
Maya Angelou. Good Lord.
What a fucking clown. Like, this is pure clown world bullshit. I'm sorry. Like, yes, Asians gatekept out of anime. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
A lot of American voice actors get wicked, America-centric. Like, we didn't... Like, none of this shit is made here.
No.
Like, you're just, like... Like, every country has a shitty, like, dub voice cast.
Yeah.
Italy, fucking
Do you think
Spain,
Mexico has a problem with this?
Mexico,
with their awesome,
everywhere.
like, Spanish voice dubs? No, they do
Yes,
not.
Exactly. So just... Oh, God. Just shut the fuck up. So tired of this crap.
Like, someone's got to dub a Japanese IP that already has a Japanese voice actor, Seiyu, whatever, who did the voice.
Exactly.
So a Japanese American needs to do the voice. Like, it's just, it's so pants on head retarded. I don't even know anymore.
What was Chad? I think he was
Hey,
just tall.
Remind me a second. Samurai Jack, really awesome voice actor, right? You want to remind me the ethnicity of that voice actor again?
I don't recall.
Oh, it's a black man.
That's
And he does an awesome fucking job.
That's what I thought, yeah.
And he's been in a million things. So my point is, it doesn't matter.
Listen, nobody was writing angry letters because a black guy
Hey.
voiced a white guy.
How many men are voiced by women in anime?
Oh, God, shit ton.
Oh, shit ton.
And vice versa. Like, every little boy is like a burned out old lady.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, women voice a ton of men in anime. Seldom the opposite, right? It's fine. It makes sense. Although it gets a little weird in Dragon Ball because Japan really wants to stick with the same voice actor forever. And, like, adult Goku should not have that kid's voice. Whatever.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
There's a reason I cannot watch non-dubbed Dragon Ball.
Why would you? The dub's pretty good.
I do like the dub.
It's kind of iconic, too.
Even though there's a lot of virtue signaling clowns. But anyway.
It's old, though.
I read this. It was just like, we have reached the height of fucking retardation. Like, what is wrong with you?
I was not planning on watching any more Bleach anyway because I didn't really like the first
Yeah,
one.
you never really liked Bleach. It was okay. I didn't hate it. I wasn't, like, super into it. It was okay.
It had bad pacing for a shonen show, and Orihime was just there to get kidnapped every 5 episodes.
It's another show I would give another chance.
I hate those fucking...
Without having to wait week to week.
Oh, yeah.
Waiting week to week ruins a lot of shows.
I would plow through some episodes to see. It was a long time, too. I changed my mind about stuff fairly often. I was just not into it at the time. Because I just watched so many episodes. It was just like, this is not going anywhere. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. I still got to get through One Piece. I don't got time for fucking hundreds of episodes of
What are
Bleach.
you on, like 7-something?
I'm almost at 800.
Nice.
They're up to a little over 1,000. I'm letting them build up because I don't want to. That's a show I do not want to catch up to.
Yeah, it'd be a bummer.
And it's got at least 5 to 6
It's
years
a bummer
left of
when you don't
episodes.
have 200 episodes in the bank.
Well, plus it's better to watch it that way because
What will you do over Christmas break?
it's like 13 to 14 minutes an episode, really, because of all the shenanigans they pull. So
It's true.
and then this whole entire episode, it's a strange thing to watch. It needs a Kai version whenever it's done. Anyway, on that note, that is the news.
The news. Man, stuff actually happened on this week's episode of Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer.
Woo!
It was
She's popping
action.
off.
Action. Fighting golems. Most of the episode was focused on, as I mentioned before, the Owl Knight is having an existential crisis because he is much like Yuhi, where he wants to watch the world burn. So he sided with Animus
Yep.
and he's kind of a spy, telling Animus what all the Beast Knights are up to, blah, blah, blah. But then he realizes he has, he never used his power before because he would just avoid all the fights. But he realized his power can actually heal people. It actually sends shit back in time. It's that style.
Whoa.
So he could, put body parts back in time.
And they don't advance in time to when they were broken again.
No.
That's good.
No, it's pretty crafty, actually.
I've heard of that before, so that's an interesting.
Yeah, no, that's a power that's somebody else has come up with before.
That's cool.
Definitely.
Use that in Savage Worlds sometime.
But anyway, and then he realizes what a dick he is because that kid died in the previous few episodes, and he probably could. Well, he might not have been able to save him because he died instantly, but still. And so he has a lot of feelings about because he starts to get friends with people and he's not sure. It's that same thing with Yuhi and the princess, blah, blah, blah. And then they finally... Snake Princess. Princess? Why did I say princess? Knight. Snake Princess. That'd be terrible. Anyway, Snake Knight finally defeats that ridiculous golem that's 1,000 little golems. And that was basically an episode. So if you want more than that, watch it yourself. Toki no Shinobi. Most of the episode was about that girl from his friend who it was revealed last week that she was betraying him and working for Koga, and then it's her backstory because basically her clan got wiped out, but there's a bunch of them left and they're just mercenaries. Basically, they have no village.
Sure.
So she's
clanless. Whatever the Ronin equivalent is for ninja.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that kind of thing, but it's the same thing where it's Toki's way too nice to her, and she feels bad, and the usual. So, good episode.
So pretty straightforward.
Standard fare. But, done well.
All right, so Chainsaw Man?
Chainsaw Man's always good. I've yet to see a not ridiculously entertaining episode.
So, Denji explores his love of boobs some more.
Denji finally gets to touch boobs.
And he finally understands that just touching a boob is great, but it's not really that great.
It's underwhelming.
But when you actually care about the person whose boob you're touching, it's awesome.
I love he's a child and he has to learn all these
such a child. It's great.
These little kid lessons.
I love him walking around with his ridiculous axe. And I love him and Power just being ridiculous trolls. Everyone else is being serious around them.
Yeah, it's funny.
So the half of the episode is that, and then the other half of the episode is them going to a what are they talking about? The bullet demon? Oh no, the gun demon.
The gun demon, yeah.
The gun demon who blew up an entire city at some point and then kind of disappeared. Yeah. And the parts are everywhere.
So now they're trying to hunt him down.
And if he can find all the gun demon parts, Power will be his. Right, like if you defeat the Gun Demon, he needs to find the parts because they get attracted to the Gun Demon, and if he defeats the Gun Demon, the power is his.
He gets all the business.
He gets all the business. Yeah, I'm trying to be, PC here.
He doesn't just get the boobs. He gets all the
He gets
parts.
everything. So, of the demon inheriting that corpse. Whatever. We won't get into that. So the
Listen, she was patting her bra, so who knows what's going on down there?
I don't want to know. Anyway, she doesn't exactly take good care of her hygiene, so he's going to learn some hard lessons. If that ever comes to pass.
Stink.
Well, plus, legendary Asian bush. So
You would hope.
one can hope. The second half of the episode is the crew going to apparently there's a piece of the Gun Demon, or maybe it's the Gun Demon in a building. It's like a 10th floor, or it's like a hotel, or
Yeah, it's like a hotel or a tall apartment building.
yeah, and they go there, and then they get caught in some weird freaking D trap where
Oh, it totally is a D trap. They go downstairs, but it just brings them.
they
down
come back
to the
around
floor
from the
that
top
they're
of the
on.
stairs, caught in some kind of freaking
Escher painting or something.
yeah. So we'll see what happens. That's kind of where it ends. There's some good character building too with the another new character.
Oh, eye patch there.
The eye patch girl, yeah. So you get to her relationship with the other guys. So
Yeah, a little backstory.
I
Very quick backstory.
I
though.
can't keep
It's
all the
nice.
names straight. Sorry.
They're good at just really efficient, just what you need backstory. I like that.
Yes. No, the pacing has been very good so far. The animation's good, the pacing's good, the writing's good. I'm really enjoying it. So
I'm sold. It's as good as everybody said it was.
it is. I'm still super excited for Kaiju number 8.
Yep.
But
Yeah, it's like the next kind of big one.
that's the next big one.
I
to
think
pop
that's
off.
coming out next year, maybe.
I want to say in the spring. But yeah.
sounds about right.
Yep. So Witch from Mercury, Gundam the Witch from Mercury,
Still good.
still great,
Still into it.
still great. You get a lot of backstory with Elan and
Yep.
his, what is he? You get to meet the other Elan,
Yeah,
the original, who's a complete piece of shit,
he is a piece of shit.
and you get the fight, the duel between Elan and his new mobile suit, and Suletta and the Ariel, and Suletta, it's ridiculous, right? Because the Ariel has, if you watch the prequel episode, some of this stuff is not that surprising.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I didn't expect her to bust it out, but I remember. Once she did it, I was like,
It's
oh,
like
I
the
remember
EMP
this. Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, basically just shuts down every
Other
robot.
mobile suits, especially other Gundam mobile suits.
And then she proceeds to tear him to shreds.
So Suletta, of course, wins. Not much of a spoiler there because the stakes were too high. And then we'll see what happens to Elan. They left it
not looking good.
It doesn't look good. Looks like he might not be alive anymore. But
Who knows?
they don't show it, so who knows? That's a good plot thread to leave hanging there.
They might just be reprogramming him or something.
There was also some good character building here with the other people from the house Suletta joined, all the Earth people, building a space pack, basically. Like a booster pack.
They were dueling outside of the colony or whatever the fuck it is.
It's one of those things where original Gundam made a thing about this for half a second. So so many Gundam series since then have made a thing about this where certain mobile suits, if you're not set up to be in space,
They just kind of are bricks.
you're screwed. I think 0083 probably did it the most.
Yeah.
Where if you don't have all the extra verniers and shit where you can maneuver in 360 degrees,
You're kinda
because why would
screwed.
you have those on Earth or on the moon or wherever?
Why'd you have those period? Yeah.
Yeah,
If
so
you're on.
you're kind of screwed.
gravity.
So she ends up in that situation, but then shenanigans. It's a great episode. I love the dueling aspect. It's just
I did
pace
not
is good.
expect to like it when they described what they were doing with it, and I'm
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised.
I was very hesitant. I thought it would be okay, it's okay. I'm happy to see a new Gundam show, but it'll probably be AG, where it's yeah, it's okay, whatever, and then maybe it'll fall off a cliff. It's really good. I really like what they're doing.
I like it probably as much as I liked IBO. I'm hoping it can.
Yeah, it's a
avoid
completely
the
different style, but
horrific ending.
you're right. I like it as much as I liked IBO, but for different reasons, obviously,
Yeah.
because IBO was more hardcore.
Yeah, it was brutal.
I liked I like 00 when it first started too. So
I like 00 all the way through. Actually,
you're right.
if you don't watch this stupid movie,
yeah. Besides the movie, 00 was pretty good. I mean, I was a little more of a sucker for Double O because it had those sweet Full Metal Panic style designs.
It really did.
Yeah. Anyway, Wish for Mercury, still good. Highly recommended. Check it out. Catch up on it. Let's see. Mob Psycho. So Mob Psycho. It's the last part of the 3-episode arc.
Yeah.
Where Dimple gets godlike powers in the broccoli, the giant broccoli, and Mob basically lets all his powers drain out and has a heart-to-heart with Dimple, and it's you'll cry manly tears watching it. It's fucking great.
It was awesomely anticlimactic because you expect him to fight because he basically goes full 100% and you think he's gonna go batshit, and then he just all his power gets leashed out and he's like, nah, man,
we're bros.
I totally get it.
But then you wanted the fight. You'll get the fight because then, of course, there was something else going on with the broccoli. That tree is evil and it's got sentience, and Dimple has to fight the broccoli tree. God Dimple has to fight the broccoli tree, and all its was it Bullhead or whatever avatars, helmet,
Psycho helmet,
Psycho helmet avatars. It's great. It's great. It's manly as fuck, and man, I don't know, man. I don't know what happened to Dimple at the end. I don't know what happened to that broccoli at the end.
I mean,
it's in space
I assume
now.
They got into space, but broccoli really.
So that's going to come back.
Dimple really tore it up.
I think that's going to be awesome. An awesome callback at the end of the season because we're at episode 7 next week. So
I seriously doubt they'll leave Dimple dead.
No,
it doesn't seem like that kind of show.
No,
right?
That's it's in space, and it's going to come back and bite you in the ass at the end of the season because that's obviously what they're doing.
Well, I mean, the preview for the next episode was them trying to summon shit from
UFOs.
Space or
Yeah.
whatever.
Sorry, there's a wild freaking yard beast attack going on right now.
He always gets his claws stuck in my sweatshirt, and then gets mad, even though he's the one who did it.
Saving cats from the yard is a noble thing, but don't expect them to not be horrible monsters.
Don't adopt feral cats and expect them to not attack you randomly.
Anyway, so yeah, great end of that whole arc. Just, I don't know, man. Again, I don't see how you couldn't like Mob Psycho, and especially if you like One Punch, watch Mob Psycho. It's so similar in feel, obviously, for obvious reasons.
Same kind of super likable characters. Great storytelling.
Great. Just a great fucking show.
Satisfying.
Animation's great, too. Good to see Studio Bones doing work.
Yeah.
Love Studio Bones. All right. Golden Kamuy. Let's talk about Golden Kamuy. It's all coming together. It's all reaching another inflection point. So it feels like they've been donking around, but they basically have been building the planks on which to build the next episode.
Yeah, all those one-off episodes were just okay, everybody's here, and then in this episode they all kind of converge.
Let's explain some backstory. Let's get everything going because Lieutenant Tsurumi is going to show up in Karafuto, which is where they're at now. So Sugimoto and his party of people are there, and Hijitaka, the samurai guy, the Shinsengumi guy, is not that far away, right? So
yeah, he's
and there's a whole gamesmanship going on with spies and double spies and the skins,
spies,
the skins and the fake skins because the whole thing is about finding the gold, and the gold, the key to the gold is tattooed on the skins of the prisoners. So they literally walk around with human skins, but then there's fake human skins, and oh god, don't ask how they made those because it's some Hannibal Lecter shit.
Yeah.
And that was a couple seasons ago, but yeah, it's all coming together, and you can see the next episode. Sugimoto's got a choice to make, right? Is he going to keep throwing in his lot with Tsurumi, or is he going to go? Him and a Sherpa are going to go back out on their own. Seems obvious that they're going to go back out on their own because Tsurumi is obviously the number one villain of the entire series.
I would assume so,
and it's just coming back around to that. I loved I can't remember his name, but the reaction to realizing that Tsurumi had played him.
Oh yeah.
And he was just like, oh my god, Tsurumi is so awesome, he's the greatest. I can't believe he's so smart. And he needs me that bad. Oh my god.
Eternal simping.
So basically Tsurumi is a master manipulator, and he just gets people to simp for him and ride or die with master manipulation. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he manipulates people in a way where they can't say no to him, and they're basically beholden to him forever.
So Sugimoto is just he's gonna get his ass out of there, I think, with the Sherpa. And Sherpa's become badass, so that'll be good. She's always been badass, but she's even more badass. And then there's always Ogata. He's like the wild card. He's out there somewhere, man. So I just love the show. It's so good. I can't
Once
say
again,
enough good things
awesome
about
writing, super likable characters,
a very interesting plot too. Like
awesome setting too.
Yes, awesome setting. It's a show that unfortunately, because it's coming out a week at a time, and then it's months or years between seasons, it can be kind of hard to follow. And it's a show that, again, I am praying that it ends not retarded, so that I can go back and rewatch it from the beginning all at once.
I can't imagine it ending retarded.
I can't either, but I could also imagine it ending so sad I don't want to watch it. So
yeah, that's true.
I can very much imagine Sugimoto getting offed and Asurpa being the last one standing, which that could work, but I kind of hope they don't do that. Anyway, Golden Kamuy, still awesome. Can't get enough of it. And going forward, since that's going to be on pause for a while, maybe we can catch up on Legend of Galactic Heroes. Maybe that was the time.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Because
I keep forgetting about it.
We got to catch up, man. They left us on a cliffhanger, and I really want to watch it.
We got to get down to Dota's Dragons.
We got to watch that, too.
Because there's a second season.
Well, it's the weather's getting colder, so inside watching. Anyway.
Stuck inside, watching that anime.
So the last one, Urusei Yatsura. So watch that today. It's still episodic, as it should be, and it's still, two mini episodes in each episode, and it's still wacky as hell. So Sakura comes back.
Doing his thing.
The Shrine Maiden comes back in the first episode and is now the school nurse, which, we talked about a lot of this, not knowing a lot of the characters when we did the review for A Beautiful Dreamer.
Yep.
Somehow this all leads to making a Nazi-themed bar for the school festival, just so you know.
Yeah.
But Sakura is now at the school. She's the school nurse. And then there's these boxing gloves that are cursed.
That was a great episode.
And one makes you clinch, so it makes you grab anybody that's nearby and smooch up on them. But then the other one, if you put it on, makes you punch them in the face. So there's a whole joke with that. And then to exercise them, they have to put Ataru in the ring with Lum, because Ataru will just punch himself in the face instead of letting Lum get punched, because even though Lum drives him crazy, he will not punch a woman.
He's still a real man.
He will not let it happen. Although he punches Mondo, he punches the teacher. It's great. It's just hilarious. So that gets worked out, obviously, and it's just shenanigans. It's a complete shenanigans episode. It just gets Sakura to the school, and there's not much character growth going on.
No, not much.
Second episode is where the show, I think, is starting to. There's a little bit of character growth going on, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And this is classic Rumiko Takahashi, right? Inuyasha was this way. I'm assuming Rama was this way. I'm sorry. I got to admit, I've never watched Rama 1/2.
I've seen some of it.
It was a little bit before my time, and I just never...
Not enough to really know it well. But.
Yeah. So, where, it kind of is silly and flippant for a while, but then it gets serious, right? And that's the smart way to always do these things. So, in this episode, it's all about love letters. Mondo gets all the love letters, and some of the boys are just like, what the hell, man? It's the boys in class, how's he get all the love letters? We're going to turn Ataru against him. Right? We're going to make this work. And they, manufacture a fake love letter to Ataru. They probably could just had Lum write one, but whatever. Yeah. They're not that smart. And then they try to pay a girl to pretend to be this fake girl, and it doesn't work out because she goes and spends the money and gets sick. So there's a bet between Ataru and Mondo for money. On Ataru's side, he can get money, and Mondo's side, he's going to become the school or the class president. And obviously the boys don't want him to be the class president because he was just if you remember from a few episodes ago, he's going to be the ultimate tyrant against all men in the class.
Yeah.
So
nobody likes that.
That's kind of the setup for the episode. Lum ends up bailing him out because the girl gets sick. And you get a little bit of character growth.
She lets him
there.
Sweat for a long time, but then she's like, fuck.
Then she bails him out, right? Because she feels bad for him, because she actually is in love with Ataru. It's not just a fling. She is freaking. She loves. Why? No one knows, but she loves Ataru.
She's in it.
She is in it, and you get a little bit of character growth. Ataru actually appreciates Lum a little bit. Just a little bit, just enough. So
the first inkling of him,
because you can't keep. It's just going to get grating after a while if you do the same thing for forever.
Oh, absolutely.
It's too much. So it's good to see. You need Ataru to have some character growth because he's just a retard. He's a complete retard. He needs to realize that
it's a total spaz.
Yeah, that he's just got to be. He's got to grow up. But that's kind of the point, right?
Yeah.
And it's just good. And the animation.
They really knocked it out of the park.
They really did. Again. I'm glad Studio David's doing it because they do awesome. Like they do the best adaptations. They just really do. I'm sad because Studio David, we've had this talk. You knew the obvious thing you had to do after JoJo's. Well, JoJo's isn't quite done yet, but I want my fist in the North Star, goddammit. I want it.
Oh, God. I could die happy if I got to see that, like, reanimated, the entire manga.
By Studio David.
Oh, God.
Oh, speaking of which, I got to check. I bet you there's another volume out.
So good. Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, we'll pop over to Barnes & Noble.
It's only like 20 minutes to read it. But
pick it up. I know.
20 minutes of pure pleasure.
I'm a little bit behind. I did start reading Two-Fisted Manly Tales today, though. Really good.
Nice.
Really good. So when that's done, we'll review that next week. We gotta keep the Comicsgate. No Comicsgate stuff this week, but next week we'll talk about some Comicsgate stuff again because definitely Two-Fisted Manly Tales and maybe Starlight Cats too.
Nice.
Anyway, that's the episodes of the week. Still good. Yeah. I this season is off the chain. I've never seen a season with this many awesome things to watch at once.
It's probably stuff we didn't even get a chance to.
And there's other stuff. Yeah, like we haven't been talking about how do you try to pick up girls in the dungeon or whatever.
Is it wrong to pick up girls in the dungeon?
Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in the dungeon?
Yeah, I guess tries.
It's got extra stuff. Regardless, we haven't even talked about that, and that's a good show. What else? I mean,
episode 12 never came out.
Yeah, we never got the last episode, which is weird.
Like, does anybody know anything about that? Like, episode 11 kind of wrapped it up, but didn't really.
We haven't even got
and I read it was 12 episodes, so I don't know.
We haven't even got a Legend of Galactic Heroes. And never mind new stuff. Like, forget about it. There's probably shows that are awesome we're not even seeing, so.
Forget about it.
Whatever. Anyway. Time to move on. Time for you to tell us all about Bastard, because I really want to watch Bastard, but I don't have Netflix. So.
It was done very much in the vein of the same way they remade Orphan.
Okay.
Very much same
Sorcerer, Stabber, Orphan?
Yes. Is it Sorcerer Stabber or Sorceress Stabber?
Sorceress Stabber, I think.
Yeah, it is. At any rate. So, I watched
It's only so long until they redo Slayers, right?
I hope so. I watched the original a long time ago, so I have no idea if I'm 90% sure they stuck basically with the original story. Nothing seemed filler in there. 24 episodes. It was season 1, I guess, because they kind of ended on a cliffhanger where they could definitely do more. Animation was great. The character's hilarious. It's that classic, he's a dick, but he's not a dick when it counts. But then just when you think
that's a classic trope.
Well, and just when you think he's like learned his lesson, he's like got his hand in some girl's pants. They just keep going back to that every time. It's hilarious. I mean, Yoko's an awesome it's mostly a harem show. Or pretty close to it.
I like classic harem show.
So there's like a million.
I was talking about watching
characters.
I was talking about watching Tenchi again. Tenchi's a harem show. So.
Yoko's like the main character. Because like the basic plot is there's this super powerful evil wizard. He almost takes over the entire world. And then and
then somebody eats his fingers?
No, not quite.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But anyway, they defeat him and they seal him up inside. They seal like his soul or whatever inside a little boy.
Yep.
And a virgin has
very Catholic of them.
A virgin has to female, I assume, has to kiss him to like unlock.
No one cares about male virgins, so yes.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, to unlock the seal so then he can like take his real form and do magic bullshit. But anyway, like they're intertwined now. So like he has some of the tendencies of the kid now, which kind of like balances. It's a good way to balance out the character. Otherwise, he's just an evil dickhead.
Yeah,
you know
sure.
what I mean? Like, so it's kind of neat because like it fades in and out. Like he'll just and like Yoko could basically like he's powerful enough to just like murk just about anything. He could blow up the kingdom if he wanted to. But like Yoko has this like weird power over him because like the kid's in there.
So the mangaka for Jujutsu Kaisen obviously was into Bastard back in the day.
Oh, probably. It's super classic. And
Very
it's got
similar, right?
Awesome metal soundtrack. They have
That's
to, like,
awesome.
They unfortunately, as I mentioned before, have to bastardize all the names because it's just the names of bands and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you can probably hear them. It's just like, actually, no. You said they actually changed them in Japanese too.
Yeah, they did for this one. They didn't for the last one.
Yeah.
Like the original.
So unlike
it's like
unlike JoJo's, where like the Japanese you would hear, like you can see the subtitle, but you can hear them saying the actual.
Yeah,
names.
like instead of anthrax, it's anthrasax, and just shit like that.
Yeah.
A lot of it's just spelled worse. It's like the Kingdom of Metallica or Metallica or whatever.
Sure.
Instead of Metallica. Just shit like that. Which, I mean, that's kind of dumb anyway to just name kingdoms after bands, but whatever.
Yeah.
It was a funny.
That's
like,
the thing to do in Japan, obviously.
It was a funny gimmick. But it didn't really spoil it. Whatever. But I don't know. I was entertained throughout. It's got awesome 90s steez. Like, it really brings you back to that, like, late 90s, early 2000s. Just like that stuff like Orphan and Slayers, like you mentioned, shit like that. So it was really nice. Good nostalgia trip. They redid it really well. There was no fuckery. It was just
Do you know what
straight
studio did it?
Shit, I don't know off the top of my head.
Not to put you on the spot, but
I wonder if Orphan was the same studio, because, man, they looked really similar. And I assume it did well enough where Netflix will bankroll the next season. I gotta assume, right?
heavy metal, dark fantasy.
Yep, that would be the one, sir.
Bastard. Original net animation. Leiden Films is the studio. Huh. I don't know who that is. Japanese.
All the character designs were like pretty stock old time.
Oh, they did that new Arslan.
Ah, okay.
Which, where's more of that, please?
Very similar.
Thank you. Could I get some more of that?
Anyway,
Ugh, they did Berserk. The new Berserk.
Bleh. It's got well, that's CG though. It's got a million awesome side characters too, like our
Akashic Records of Bastard Magic Instructor. I remember that one.
Oh yeah. True that.
So they've been pretty busy. They've been doing some stuff.
They're under the radar apparently.
Yeah, Cells at Work. Code Black.
Oh yeah, that's like new.
Tokyo Revengers. So yeah,
they're
up and coming. Cool.
Well, there you go. At any rate,
Call of the Night.
If you,
Yeah.
That's surprising. Anyway, if
Cool
you
to
like
see.
that 90s steez, I would 100% recommend watching it because it's a good blast from the past. If you don't give a shit about if you were born in the 90s and you don't give a fuck about any of that nonsense, it's still good. It's just a stock, sword and sorcery adventure anime.
You know how much of a sucker I am for sword and sorcery adventure. Like,
It's got both sword. It's got swords that are basically. They're just like demon princes and shit that turn into swords.
we need to talk more about Lotus War and Rune Soldier Louis at some point
Oh yeah, we should.
because they're both amazing,
Got to rewatch both.
and maybe even Grand Crest War.
Oh yeah. Grand Cross War I've seen recently because it's fairly new.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
I haven't seen Rune Soldier Louis in 100 years. And
So good.
I think last time we watched Lotus War, I slept through half of it.
We just
I've
need to
seen
start
it do that.
again. We just need to start again
But at any rate,
because we never even got to Chronicles of the Heroic Knight.
No, we did not.
No, and we haven't watched Escaflowne yet, so we got to get there.
Well, I mean,
Eska?
how many hours a week can we really watch
Flone.
anime? Honestly,
A
not
lot.
that many. I mean,
A lot,
both got shit to do.
but the summer's tough. The winter is when you catch up on this kind of stuff.
Yeah, when I'm like,
because you're not enjoying the outside.
when
and
there's a foot of snow on the ground.
Exactly.
You don't want to leave.
Exactly. All right, so Bastard sounds really good. I definitely want to check it
Tip
out.
top, couldn't have been.
And not
happier.
done yet, obviously. Right? They'll, unless it did very poorly, they'll do more and finish
I
it.
assume so. Yeah, I mean, they set it up for a whole nother season.
Yeah,
so.
it may already be done, and they're just waiting. That happens. All right, so Netflix doing something good for once. Which, when they hand off to other studios, that usually happens.
Yep, they
like
don't they produce almost nothing now. It's just they're trying to recoup their losses by.
Still waiting for my Symphony of the Night, man. It's coming. All right,
that's what happened to the scattershot technique.
Yeah,
that every company was using for a while. Like, let's just fucking throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. Like, yeah, you can't spend $8 billion on throwing shit at the wall and like $2 million worth of shit sticks.
But Dem Rangs!
No, Dem Rangs is done.
No.
God, they're rebooting the whole thing, I heard.
Yeah, they should.
That's
they should
crazy.
be sad.
Well, I mean, they should
hire Peter Jackson immediately and forget the first season existed and just do it right.
Listen, if this was my childhood, if I fucked up that bad at anything, my parents would take it away from me.
If I were Jeff Bezos, I would literally come out and say, the first season doesn't exist. We're just doing it again. And, yeah, we got Peter Jackson on board. Call it a day. Oh, and rehired the lore guy because that was retarded to follow.
I don't know. They swore they weren't going to make shit up and it was all going to be canon next season. So
it's impossible.
Which they said that originally. So all
they have is like appendices. It's not enough. Buy the fucking rights to Silmarillion.
I don't think they can unfuck it, but whatever.
Because, I mean, at this point, like, Tolkien's grandkids will sell anything for $1. Like, they're
the thing
awful.
Is, even if they completely reboot it, no one cares. Like, you already made a mockery of it, so, like, nobody's going to be like, ooh, maybe they'll do. Like, no, I've already been burned. No one cares.
I know.
Most people just hate-watched it so they could talk shit about it.
Yeah, and have YouTube videos. All right, let's not talk about it because we're doing the same thing. Much smaller scale. 86. So I have some thoughts about 86.
86 was fantastic.
86 was fantastic. I can't say enough good things about the adaptation. It adapts apparently the first 3 light novels, and there's 10 or 11 of them, I think.
Wow.
So there's a lot more out there, and that's my main bitch is I really hope they do more. So spoiler alert up front, it's great, and I really hope they do more and adapt more of the novels.
It's such a cool idea. Like, it was just fresh at the time.
So let's talk about the ideas. So, it's funny because I like to contrast it with AIM. So AIM, cool designs, cool idea, poorly executed, right? Boring, never went anywhere. 86 mech designs are cool. It's like spider tanks that they have.
They're
very small spider tanks.
They're supposed to be shitty and utilitarian, though.
Yes.
Very much like Votoms. They got like scope dogs where they're just...
not as much polymer ringer fluid, but yes.
Yeah. Well, the idea is basically they're like one is the same as the other. They're just like military equipment.
So,
you know what I mean?
The basic premise of 86 is it's an alternate version of Earth or whatever. Who knows? It could be a different planet. It's in the future. Or what.
Yeah,
they don't really get into that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. There's a kingdom that creates AI mechs, like spider mechs, little spider mech, and a bunch of different sizes, and to fight their wars. And then unfortunately, the AI obviously becomes sentient and, very Terminators, everything. And now it wipes out that kingdom, and now it's attacking all the neighboring kingdoms. And the neighboring kingdoms were like, oh, fuck, what do we do about this? Mm-hmm. So one of the neighboring kingdoms decides that they are horrific Nazi-style racists, and they're all like, not albinos, but they're all like silver-haired and like light-skinned.
Yeah.
And they have the 86. So they divide themselves into districts, and the 86th district is all like
all the brown-haired people.
Yeah, it's basically all like
everyone who doesn't have white hair.
The people that didn't originate from that kingdom, right? Like that lived in the kingdom. They isolate them there, and then they use them to fight their battles, right? So they tell the populace through propaganda every morning that their drones are doing a good job against the drones from the kingdom of, and I can't remember the name of the kingdom, unfortunately, but against the evil kingdom, like, oh, the drones are doing your work. Well, the drones have actual people in them, and at this point, so many people are dead from the 86 that it's basically like high school and middle school children.
Yeah.
Like prosecuting this entire war.
All the adults have been killed. They're down to like the dregs.
So there's some people in the military that know this, and the basic idea is the military of the white-haired master race uses a technology that was developed by one of the 86, actually, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it one of the 86? Or it was originally tested with one of the 86. Whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
But it's a technology where you can communicate with people kind of psychically, right? It's just psychic communication.
Yeah.
It kind of works on that level because obviously the drones they jam all the signals. They do all the stuff you would expect drones like that would do, right?
Yeah.
So the 86 are coordinated by and they're segregated into different teams.
It's like a handler, basically.
Yeah, by a handler that coordinates them, right? So the 86 are divided into teams, and then there's like section 1, right, which is the spearhead. So they don't want anybody to live. Like the idea is you serve for 4 years and you get out. Well, they don't want anybody to live because if they live, they'll report back what's actually happening, and then they don't want an uprising among the 86. They don't want other kingdoms anywhere if they still exist because they're not in touch with any of the other kingdoms because of all the electronic jamming going on. They don't want anybody to find out that they're evil, racist assholes. They've been doing this the whole time.
Basically.
Right. So it starts off with, what's her name? Valese or whatever?
Valese, yeah, I think so. Something like that. It's been probably a year since I watched it. So.
Yeah, I watched it more recently, so Valese, so basically sorry, I'm looking up names. I'm going to look up names. I'm going to get names right because it's the way to be.
Being correct is generally preferred.
Being correct is the way to be. Vladilena Milese. Yeah, so Milese. So she takes over for not section 1, but like section 1, team 1, whatever.
Yeah.
And
she takes over as their handler.
And
she's like very anti the way they do things.
Yes,
like,
she knows.
She knows what's going on. She really tries her hardest to keep them alive.
And she wants to treat them as humans, right? And there's a great interplay between her and the 86 where, like, obviously she can't really know what's going on. She can't really understand.
Yeah, she has no visual communication. It's just
and they kind of you can't. If you visually connect, you could drive people crazy. And the previous 3 or 4 commanders were all driven insane by dealing with Section 1, probably because they know their people and they know they have to just get them killed, and they can't take it. They don't really want to do that, right? So you have the Reaper, Shine Nozen, so the main, the commander of Section 1, right? He's a bad man, right? Like, bad man, I mean, he's like a 15-year-old kid, but 16-year-old kid, whatever it is. His brother at some point tried to kill him. He kind of died, was resuscitated, and for some reason he can hear so one of the big things is he can hear all the drones, the enemy drones. Because the enemy drones, in order to supplement their AI, will basically take the brains of dead soldiers and integrate them, right? And then there's basically a copy of your consciousness in the enemy system, and it's really creepy. So he can hear them out there, and he's like, I want to free these people, right? And one of his jobs is when he comes across one of his own people that's mostly dead, he will just shoot them. That's his job, right? Like he kills them and shoots them in the head.
Yeah, because they can't take a dead.
So they can't take them and then become part of that AI network and kind of kill their friends, right? Like, it's awful. So this show is, I don't want to get into all the plot. It goes on from there, and then you get other kingdoms and stuff. I'm not going to do the whole plot, but it's intense. Like, it's tough.
Serious business.
It's tough. Like, watching it all at once, there were points where I was just like, okay, that's enough episodes for today.
Yeah.
I'll watch something else.
Yeah, it took a while to watch it because it's like, man, I need something to like wash this out of my brain before I go to bed.
It's holy shit, is it intense.
That's what was good about it, though.
Great fucking show.
It's realer than
and eventually the evil racists, their kingdom collapses. So you'll get to see that. Little spoiler there. And eventually Malaysia does meet up with the 86, which is man, I'm going to cry manly tears right now just thinking about it. It was great.
It's heartwarming.
The setups were great. It's interesting because they basically, the first season is basically a killing spree. Like, they establish a lot of characters and then just murder them.
And then once you get to the second season, it kind of settles in.
Yeah, you got your like half dozen core characters.
Where it boils down to the core characters, and then you actually care about them, and by God, you don't want them to die.
Yeah.
So it ramps up at that point, and God, it's just such a good setup. It's a great show. It's 23 episodes. There's a bunch of half episodes. They're just clip episodes. Don't worry about those. There's 23 real episodes. It's great. And I'm glad there's 23 episodes because again, I think they were smart about the writing and they
did what they had to do.
They did what they had to do to tell the story and didn't pad it out, right? There needs to be more. My main takeaway is there needs to be more. First thing I'm going to say is watch this goddamn show. The show is fucking phenomenal. It's a great show. It's intense, but it's a really good show.
It's one of the best things I watched in like quite some time.
It's really goddamn good.
For that like real robot, like super gritty.
Super gritty. Oh my God.
Like Gundam Votom's style of
I think it's even more intense than like a Gundam. And Gundam at times could be dark. Although I don't know. The end of Zeta is still one of the darkest things ever.
This was like all intense. You know what I mean? There was no happy parts of it, really, because
there were a little bit. They mixed them in a little bit at the beginning of the second season, but not much.
It's just a gritty environment. Like there's not a lot of opportunity for pleasant things to happen. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. There's no cakey.
No. There's no horror.
So yeah, excellent goddamn show. And I'll stop blathering on about it. I think I've given you a flavor of what it's about and why it's good. Writing's excellent. Characters are excellent. You really care about them, especially once it whittles down to those last like 6 or so characters.
Yeah.
And they don't in second season doesn't introduce a bunch of new ones either.
You
get a couple that get killed, and then you get like one that's a new permanent character that starts out annoying and turns out pretty based.
Yeah.
But yeah, great goddamn show. Just man, I want more. I want more tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like it's really good. Anyway, now it is time. Now it is time to move on to the final review.
MACROSS
Plus.
Super classic. I would argue my second favorite MACROSS series.
Yeah,
show,
so OVA,
whatever.
yeah, I mean it's only 4 episodes, but they're 35-ish minutes apiece, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Zero looks pretty, but I might be with you. I'm gonna put it third. I really like MACROSS Frontier.
Frontier's really good.
I really like Frontier, so I'd probably put the first one, then Frontier, then this, then Zero, then 7, way down.
7 way down the basement.
Then Dynamite 7, right below that. Then, what the fuck was that new one? D or
Oh, I don't remember.
whatever the new one was. Like through the floor, it's like somewhere in the basement.
That was a trash
It's
fire.
worse than MACROSS 7.
I was so amazingly disappointed because I'm like, yeah, new MACROSS show. It's like, oh, this is awful.
So first thing, MACROSS Plus, it's from the 90s, mid-90s. It's kind of the height of hand-drawn animation. It reminds me a lot of 08MS Team.
Yeah,
Pretty. And it's very pretty, like digital coloring, like hand-drawn animation with digital coloring, although it does have a lot of CG. It's one of the first animes to use a lot of CG. And they do the CG well.
It's actually really good considering.
Because they use the CG for things like holograms and displays and what you see in your mind.
Yeah, they don't try to do stuff that's beyond their reach. You know
No,
what I mean?
and they do stuff that would make sense, that would look CG-ish. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
They don't try to make something that would be real something that should be real CG.
Yeah.
So it's very cool. And even some of the holograms they don't do CG for because it makes sense not to do it. Also, there's a movie and an OVA. Watch the OVA. The OVA is a little bit longer. It fleshes it out more. The movie's okay, but watch the OVA.
For the difference in time, you might as well just watch
Exactly.
the OVA.
It's not that much difference in time.
It's not that much.
And it doesn't drag. It's not really slow, so there's no reason to condense it. Just watch the OVA. Hopefully, we'll have a nice 4K release soon, since it seems like Harmony Gold is settled their differences with Big West.
Loosen their fucking death grip.
But for now, there's DVDs out there, and you can also, sail the high seas. So, MACROSS Plus. So this takes place between Super Dimension Fortress Macross, which is the basis of the original Robotech.
OG, son.
OG, the original, and MACROSS 7. So if you know about MACROSS 2 is erased from existence by this OVA. And honestly, MACROSS 7, right? So no more MACROSS 2. That's not canon anymore, right? So this is 30 years after the original Macross. So what's Macross? If you don't know, how dare you? But basically, a alien spaceship lands on Earth, crash lands on Earth in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. We go, oh shit, aliens, alien invasion, problems. Let's create technology based on this ship, and let's get this ship up and running again so we can go back into space and deal with this problem that's obviously coming our way. And that's Macross, right? And then they go deal with that problem that's coming their way. The Zentradi are an alien race that they have to deal with who were engineered for war by another race. And they're giant people, but they can also be small. MACROSS PLUS doesn't deal with the giant part at all. You won't even know that it exists. But you have to know about the Zentradi because there are some Zentradi people around. They're very green or grayish, and they look kind of, I don't know, they look different. They don't look exactly like humans, right? They got elf ears and whatever else.
Yeah. Anyway.
So MACROSS PLUS it's very 0083, and 0083 was before this.
Definitely.
Very 0083. So it's about test pilots, right? So it's about a Samu Dyson, human test pilot, very Top Gun.
Hell yeah.
Going to test the latest models to replace at this point, so in the original series, it was the VF-1 Valkyrie, and then it was the VF-11 Thunderbolt at the beginning of this as the replacement. So 30 years later, makes sense. And then they're testing the YF-19 and the YF-21, which are the two potential replacements for the VF-11. And when you watch Macross 7, there's a VF-19 and a VF-22 or whatever. Both of those appear, right? In slightly different forms. Like the VF-19 is very similar, but the VF-22 or whatever is a lot different. It doesn't have the mind control thing. So the two differences is
it obviously didn't work very
So you have Osamu Dyson. He's doing the YF-19, traditional plane, but just very, very capable and too many G's and will fuck you up if you're not super badass, right? It's just the super cutting edge, super good plane.
Yeah.
And the planes turn into mechs, right? They turn into 12 meter tall mechs.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's smaller than a Gundam, bigger than a Votoms, right? And then there's Gold Goa Bowman, who's the Zentradi, half Zentradi, who's the YF-21 pilot, and the YF-21 is mostly, you can control it manually, but it's mostly controlled with your mind. Right, it's got a whole helmet.
Yeah, he wears a crazy helmet that lights up and shit.
So it's got crazy stuff going on, right? You basically imagine yourself, you're the plane, and it's crazy. And the whole thing is set up with the two of them know each other from high school, right? They went to high school together years ago on New Eden, which is where they're testing these things. And they were also going to high school with Myung, who's the manager for one of the biggest pop artists in the galaxy, right? Sharon Apple. And you come to find out that Sharon Apple it's basically supposed to be an AI artist, but they're using Myung for part of the program because they can't complete the program.
Because they suck at programming.
But then the program might go a little rogue. There might be some AI ghost. There might be another program besides the YF-19 and the YF-21 where there's a drone that would be AI controlled rather than human controlled. And the whole thing is about their rivalry. It's really about their rivalry. That's really what it's about. And it's also about the nature of war. And
which is why it's good. It keeps the Top Gun format.
Very good. Very, very good. Right. So anyway, that's the basic premise. 4 episodes. Like I said, 35 minutes each piece. Animation is gorgeous. Character design, I really thought it was Outlaw Star's character designer. It is not.
It's very similar, though.
Apparently, Outlaw Star's character designer did Macross Zero, so when we talk about that eventually.
Yeah.
But very similar, very sharp designs, very sharp noses, very
hawkish features.
Very expressive faces. This is the opposite of Gundam Seed, where generic Animu faces everybody, just change the hair. No. Everybody's got a very distinct face.
Yes.
God, it's just so pretty. So, what do you like? What do you like about Macross PLUS?
I like
MACROSS PLUS.
What I like about everything that I like. Great story.
Yep.
Great characters.
Decent amount of action.
Oh yeah, tons of awesome fucking fight scenes. I'm a sucker for it. I mean, it's planes. If you're a sucker for planes, they turn into robots. It's the best of both worlds.
Macross is so good.
Right. Like you said, the animation's gorgeous. Great characters. They're no cardboard cutouts at all. They're all super developed. It's very efficient. Does not waste any time. Every episode, like some of the episodes are kind of slow. It's like mostly character development, but like you don't notice it at all. It's just it's like damn, it's finished. Like put on the next episode. You know what I mean?
And it's
my only bitch really is that it's not like a 13 episode series because they probably could have fleshed it out more.
So it's a Bandai series. Animation's great. Studio Nui, Shoji Kawamori did the created it, and so Shoji Kawamori he was the chief director. Do you know who the other director was? You're never gonna guess this.
Do tell.
Shinichiro Watanabe.
Really?
From Cowboy Bebop
That's
fame.
crazy.
Yeah. I just saw that, and I'd never known that. Yoko Kanno does the music, and the music is awesome.
It is phenomenal. Yeah.
Triangle Staff is the studio, but it looks very Bandai. It looks very like 90s Bandai. It's gorgeous. The music's great. The direction's great. The characters are great. It's an excellent like love triangle kind of thing. I love the character development for Gold Goa Bowman and for Osamu, right? Like he grows as well. Because they're all kind of in their late 20s and figuring shit out, right?
Feeling their oats.
Just enough action to make it interesting, right? Like not a ton. This is more like this reminds me a lot of 0080. Yeah. Even though 0080 it owes more to 0083 from the plot Top Gun style.
Yes.
0083 is much more of a pulp action series.
Yeah, definitely.
This is a lot more like 0080 where it's a lot more introspective.
Yep.
It's a lot more character based. It's a lot more emotional. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. It relies more on interpersonal like character relationships than it does. I mean, there's a ton of cool, like dogfight scenes and just stuff like that. But, that's not like the bulk of the show.
Also, Itano is still involved. So there's plenty of Itano Circus missiles everywhere.
Yeah, they really beat the crap out of it.
God, it's such a pretty show. When this comes out, hopefully, inevitably on 4K, I'm all over it. I will pay damn near any price. Like, for all of Macross. Like, honestly, if you haven't watched Macross, go watch original Macross. Like, don't watch Robotech. Robotech's all right, but watch Macross. Like, the original Macross is just so good. It's one of the best 80s shows. It just is. Like, it does an excellent job of telling a good story, and then it does that weird thing where it follows through, right?
Yeah,
like, it gives you another, 9 to 10 episodes that really follows characters to the logical conclusion. It's great. And this just builds on it, right? This does the job of a lot of those like Gundam shows. We talked about OHMS team. This, fills in that gap and it builds the universe. And
there's so much more going on than just like that main.
I wish there were more.
Know what I mean?
I wish there were more, right? Like I would not just Macross Plus, but I mean more of these Macross style OVAs because they only did really this and Macross Zero.
Yeah, I wish they did it more Gundam style where they were shit ton.
And like Dynamite 7, but whatever. We're not going to talk about Space Whales. I wish they had done more, right? Because Gundam has done a better job at fleshing out its universe than Macross has.
Absolutely.
And plus, I don't dislike any of the mainline Gundam shows, UC Gundam shows, I should say. I mean, even the most maligned, which is Victory, which I don't think it should be, is pretty good.
The only problem with Victory, as I've said many times, is it just doesn't feel like a Gundam show.
The first half of it, the second half I think does, but the first half does not at all. The first half is very weird. I'm with you on that. It's got that late Tamino kind of crossing into King Gainer territory.
Yeah, just weirdness.
Kind of feel. Anyway, we're drifting off plot a little bit. Macross Plus, it is a stone cold classic. It's worth tracking down. It's worth even if you haven't watched Macross, I'm telling you to watch Macross. Even if you don't got time to watch Macross, I ain't got no time for that.
I swear to God, I thought it was on Retro Crush, but we couldn't find it.
Yeah,
so
Macross Plus, I watched that first by itself. Everything else is an Easter egg in it. Like, it doesn't tie enough to it that it matters.
Yeah, like, you don't need to have watched original Macross.
Like, it's cool to know what the Macross is, and like, ooh, it's the Macross. That's cool. It doesn't matter that much. Just watch it. It's awesome. The animation, it's so pretty. It's that. To me, everybody talks about the late 80s being the height of hand-drawn animation. To me, it was that mid-90s, like right before it hit, too much CG and things.
I like the digital color.
Yes. on that, on Oath MS Team, on Area Zerum,
Yep.
on even the Pat Labor movie, like that's where I'm at. That's where I think the prettiest animation existed. So
Pat Labor movie was like early 90s.
I don't think
I don't think it was digitally colored though. I think that's still.
I think it was, or maybe not. Maybe it's only the second one.
Oh, it might be right.
It might be only the second one, but it's definitely brighter in its palette. So I like that brighter palette. I grew up with Nintendo, but really I grew up with Super Nintendo, and it made all the difference.
Oh,
like,
hell
I'm
yeah.
not. I like Nintendo games. I'm not that much of a sucker for Nintendo games. They're too muddy and washed out. I'm a big sucker for Super Nintendo games because they got that brightness back,
Yeah, they
right?
really
That color
popped.
palette. That's what this has. It is so fucking pretty. So I don't know. I'm just gushing now.
It's
Great
got
fucking
everything.
show.
It's good story. It's
Absolute
beautiful.
classic. If you like anime at all, you have to watch it.
And it's only
Period.
short, 4 episodes. I mean, you bang it out in an
Yep.
evening
We did.
several times over the years.
Like with your mom.
Hey-o!
Oh.
And with that, as usual, have a fantastic week, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Well, that's all for today, everyone. We'd like to thank all of you for tuning into another episode of the Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour. Please remember to like and subscribe, and may your entertainment be always, well, entertaining.